All right, we're back for another top 3 songs of the legendary rock band Kiss. This is going to be part 3. So, Creatures of the Night is the album we're going to start off with. We did music for the Elder, music from the Elder last time. That's Eric Carr's first with the band. So, Eric Carr's back drumming on this one. Ace Frehley is still in the band. However, Vinnie Vincent wrote a lot of these songs and I think played a lot of the guitar. Ace is absolutely on his way out. And this is going to be the last record with the makeup on for a bit. So this album is excellent. It's going to be in my top 10 Kiss albums. This is Return to Form. It's one of the heavier ones, and it's kind of moved them into this, I call it hair metal as they get in the 80s and into the early parts of the 90s. A lot of good songs to choose from here, but absolutely got to go with Creatures of the Night, and that song is fantastic. It's the opener, really good drumming from Eric Carr to start this one off. Eric Carr has like just power to his drumming. It's definitely a different sound than Peter Criss. And then, there's a few other ones that we can go with. I Love It Loud was one of the big hits on this one. And then War Machine was one of my favorites from the get-go. This is a Gene Simmons song. So, I Still Love You, back in the day, really like that one. That's their ballad. And if you hear Kiss do it live, the things that Paul Stanley can do with his voice are just really remarkable. But my favorite songs on this one are going to be Creatures of the Night. Definitely you have Paul Stanley on lead vocals here. And this was a concert staple for a long time with the makeup being off. So Creatures of the Night. And then War Machine, one of the more grimier, heavier songs, kind of that fits that demon persona of Gene Simmons of like, yeah, you want to mess with me? Great. I'm a war machine. And then the third song I'm going to go with, I decided not to go with I Love It Loud, even though I dig that one. I'm going to go Rock and Roll Hell. Just a little bit of a deeper cut. You've Gene Simmons on vocals again, but really, really like that song. But yeah, Creature of the Night, this is one I would definitely recommend. Go out and buy that one. Really, really good stuff. Next, we're going with 1983 with the release of Lick It Up. You can see the band now does not have their makeup on. And this is probably one of their non-makeup better covers. Their covers get pretty, questionable at best, I would say. You got Eric Carr right here, and then this is Vinnie Vincent, who definitely good, really good songwriter with Kiss. They have a heavier feel with him. And this is a good album too. Like this one, had a few songs in contention. For this one, we're going to go with All Hell's Breaking Loose. Again, it's a grimier song, catchy chorus. I could see the crowd singing to this one when it's going. But yeah, really, really good song there. And Lick It Up, I was going to try to go with the deep cuts and not pick one of the top singles, but just when I listen to the album, Lick It Up just stands to me. So yeah, Lick It Up is just like classic Kiss song. When I was playing on my streaming device earlier yesterday and today, that was the first song that they played was Lick It Up. So you can tell it's one of their popular ones. And then the other song I'm going to go with is the album closer, and on the Eighth Day. This is kind of, Kiss has a theme on a couple other songs throughout their catalog of where the music is just so powerful and it's coming from a heavenly being, coming from the Lord, I would say. So 7 days of creation, well, now it's the 8th day, and on the 8th day we got rock and roll. So yeah, really, really dig this album. Unfortunately, there's all kinds of drama with Vinnie Vincent on the tour, and they end up kicking this guy to the curb. What I was reading yesterday, even when in concert, his solos would be longer than they should, and the other guys in Kiss, primarily probably Gene and Paul, thought he was trying to show them up. Yeah, Vinnie Vincent gets the boot. Next record we're going to go with, and so even new guitar player is Mark St. John, and this is going to be Animalize. So, with Animalize, not as strong as Lick It Up in my opinion. I think the album cover's kind of cheesy, but it's better than some of the other ones that are coming up. The hit single on this one's Heaven Is on Fire, has that opening from Paul Stanley where he's just singing. If you hear that, and you're a Kiss fan, like, oh, here comes this song. Paul's Paul's got to be one of the better vocalists that just in this style of music and maybe in general, he's really versatile in his prime of what he could hit. So here, try not to take the hits, but I went back and forth. So of course I'm going Heaven is on Fire. It's great. Yeah, just one of those ones that, you can hear the crowd singing to it, people getting pumped when it's played, concert staple for a long, long time. The other song I'm going to go is Lonely is the Hunter. This is more of a Gene Simmons. This is a Gene Simmons song, but more of his vibe. It slows us down. It's not as poppy as some of the stuff Paul's writing here, but starting on this record, you start to see, at least for me, the quality in Gene's music is not as strong. And if you know the backstory, do some reading, he was trying to break into acting. So Paul definitely was carrying the band at this point. But throughout these albums, these next few that we're going to listen to, Gene has a really, really strong song, at least all of them, in my opinion. And then they always have their kind of cheesy lyrics, those kind of pepper through the seven, not seven, that's the Kiss sound. But yeah, good stuff. This album is a few notches down from Lick It Up, but I do like this one. So the next one I'm gonna take, so we're going Heaven's on Fire, Lonely is the Hunter, and this next one's gonna be Get All You Can Take. When I went back to listen to this record, I wasn't sure which one I was going to pick, but when I heard it and listened to it again, have those memories, because I've been a Kiss fan for over 30 years. Like, okay, yeah, this is the song, one of Paul's songs that has more edge to it. Again, chorus is good. I like the more power in his voice, kind of chugging. Get yourself out there moving, doing some work. But Heaven's on Fire, Lonely is the Hunter, and Get All You Can Take are the top 3 songs from Animalize. All right. So going to our next album. I just have to find it on here. Oh, why? Oh, it's Asylum. So 1985. Bruce Kulick comes in. I believe he came in the Animalize tour because Mark St. John has arthritis. I think that's what he had, and he wasn't able to play. Bruce Kulick comes in. Paul had worked with Bob Kulick, the brother, on his solo Kiss record. And so they knew Bruce. I think he did some work on some other albums or tours prior to filling in for Mark St. John. But I gotta tell you, I love this album. One of my favorite Kiss records out there. Album cover is pretty terrible, but what are you gonna do? So this album was pretty easy for me. I knew the songs right away that I was gonna go with, and first and foremost, Who Wants to Be Lonely? Oh man, it's so catchy. I like the groove of the riffing and the drum work on here, and then it's kind of a smooth vocals, and then it just builds and the chorus hits. And yeah, I remember being a little kid, maybe 10 years old, listening to this, and this was the prime of when I started listening to music. So this poppy hairspray music, it just speaks to me. But yeah, Who Wants to Be Lonely? Fantastic. So that's gonna be my favorite song on this record. Next song we're gonna go, and this is the album opener, King of the Mountain. Starts with Eric Carr drumming. Different sound because not very many Kiss songs open with the drums like this, and I think this is Eric getting to show off for like 10 to 15 seconds. Then the song gets into it. Again, nice rhythm. One of those songs like, okay, I got some work to do. Let's do it. I'm gonna go moving. I'm gonna go for a jog, whatever it's gonna be. But another good song. Paul Stanley on vocals on this one too. But so far, Who Wants to Be Lonely, King of the Mountain, and to close out our third favorite song on this one is a Gene track, and we're going Trial by Fire. I'll say he slows it down just a little bit from the other 2 songs I picked. But again, good groove, steady drum beat. Trial by Fire. So yeah, sorry for the singing, but it's not one of my skills. But yeah, my favorite Gene song on this one for sure, and my favorite song, my third favorite song on Asylum. But by this album, this is better than Lick It Up, definitely better than Animalize in my opinion, and it's gonna be better than the next one we're gonna talk about here in just a second. So now, 1987, we're going to Crazy Nights. You can see the cover here. It's the broken glass. Desmond Child has been a prominent songwriter for Paul Stanley. I think this is the second or third record where Desmond Child, who's just like this hit maker, this top 40 hit maker, so you can feel it in the music that Kiss is writing. We find out later, at least I found out later, that Gene Simmons was not a fan of Desmond Child and eventually wants Desmond nowhere near the recording. But he pumped out quite a few catchy songs with Kiss. So the album opener is cool. It's catchy. Made its way back into the set list in recent years as they were, getting ready to hang it up. But what I'm going to go with, we're going to go with another Gene Simmons song. This is Hell or High Water, similar to Trial by Fire. And I know Hell or High Water has been a popular song name from many other artists, but really like that one. Again, good energy, but best song by Gene on this one by far. And then the next song we're going to go with is I'll Fight. Hell to Hold You, poppy, catchy, radio friendly. Maybe I'm surprised it just didn't get more airplay or wasn't one of the lead singles, but really like this one. Standout on this is Bruce Kulick's solo. It's an excellent solo. But this is the anthem for Paul Stanley to show off his singing chops, hit some notes that a lot of people can't hit. So kudos to Paul on this one. And then I had a lot in contention. If we're going back to 10, 12-year-old Chris, I'm going to go Reason to Live, which is probably the poppiest song on here. My Way I thought was cool. Like I said, Crazy Nights. But what I decided to go with was Turn on the Night. Again, another poppy song. If I remember correctly, I wouldn't be surprised if Desmond Child is on that song too. But Paul, again, able to show off his vocal stylings and just a feel-good song. And then you have some pick harmonic work by, I'm assuming it's by Bruce, could be by Paul in here, but I'm going to say it's Bruce. But yeah, Crazy Night's a good record. I like it better than Animalize, not as good as Asylum. It might, it's close with Look It Up for me. But yeah, dig that one. So let's go one more record and then we'll close this part out and we'll do another one. Right, Hot in the Shade, 1989. This album gets a lot of hate, and part of the reason it's way too long. There is a ton of songs on this one, 15 songs, and they should have cut the fat and eliminated 4 or 5 songs, definitely. Paul Stanley's the star of this one. One of the songs I think that got me into Kiss was Forever, the smash ballad. Later, I find out that Paul Stanley wrote it with Michael Bolton, which I thought was interesting. I'm not picking Forever because I listened to that song so many times, and I definitely am drawn to heavier music, at this point. But yeah, Paul Stanley's the star here. So the first song we're going to go with, and it's going to be one of my favorite Paul Stanley songs, just in general throughout the catalog, is You Love Me to Hate Me. You Love Me to Hate You. Just, yeah, I like the way it opens. I like the way it builds. I like the little guitar solo by Bruce in the beginning. The chorus, just like Who Wants to Be Lonely, is just something that has always just grabbed me and resonates with me, and I dig that one a lot. The second song is going to be one of the singles that was released. This is Rise to It. Starts with this little twangy acoustic guitar in the beginning. And I believe the music video is, they don't have makeup on, but they eventually get to the dressing room and they're starting to put makeup on, which I always wondered if that was foreshadowing or, just something they were just trying to pay homage to. But yeah, Rise to It. You got Paul Stanley on vocals again. Yeah, good stuff. Good groove. You got Eric Carr doing his thing. I think he's a really excellent drummer. Sadly, I believe he gets cancer in the recording of this album. And so on the next record, which we'll talk to in the next part, there's a tribute to Eric Carr, but yeah, he ends up passing away. I can't remember the cancer, but you could tell it really just rocked these Kiss guys. They seemed like they were a family. So nice tributes. He does sing a song on this album too. But my third song I'm going to go with, I was bouncing between a few, Hide Your Heart, Read My Body, King of Hearts. I decided to go with Hide Your Heart. This song, when Paul Stanley did some solo tours, Hide Your Heart came on there. This is the vibe like Living on a Prayer from Bon Jovi, where it's these characters, right? He's singing out these characters, this love story, and then somebody brings out a firearm because I think you were cheating on this person, or they thought they were cheating on you, but it's Rosa, Johnny, and I'm not remembering the other one. But top three songs from Hot in the Shade. We're going You Love Me to Hate You, Rise to It, and Hide Your Heart. All right, we'll do one more part to Kiss. It's going to be part 4 shortly, but hope you enjoyed top 3 songs from these albums. I'll be curious to know what your favorite songs are. All right, y'all, take care.